the Seattle Mariners lose another series, but the offense seemed to have found a spark. Let's talk about it. So the Mariners had another series loss against the Milwaukee Brewers 2-1, and one could say it was definitely an interesting series. On Friday night, the Mariners had a big comeback in the top of the ninth with the bottom of our order coming up, and they still ended up losing 6-5 on a walk-off walk. Saturday, the bats came out to play finally, and we won 5-3. And then Sunday day game, I don't even want to talk about what happened. We got destroyed 12-4, and that was only due to a Dom Canzone home run in the ninth. So while we did lose 2 out of 3 again, it did seem like there was a little bit more of a spark in this offense this past weekend. In the first game, they tallied together 8 hits. In the second game, they had 10 hits. And then in the third game, they still had 8 hits, even though they got destroyed. So this was the first weekend in a while where I felt like our pitching had hurt us more than our offense did. In the first game, the Mariners had 10 strikeouts, but that was against Freddie Peralta, so I'll give them a little bit of a pass. In the second game, they had 11, and in the last game, they had 8. So a little bit of an improvement, not too much, still struggling a little bit on the strikeout side. But we did see some positive things from a lot of guys that were really unexpected. Like I said, they had that comeback in the top of the ninth inning on Friday night. And that was basically put together by Dylan Moore, Samad Taylor, and Luis Urias, which that's one big thing that we're really going to need this year is the bottom of the lineup to really step up. Obviously, the guys at the top are kind of struggling a little bit right now, but we need those guys at the bottom of the lineup to really step up and do those kind of things. So you had Demo with a really big hit, and then you had Samad Taylor follow it up with a hit. And then Luis Urias had a ground rule double, which drove in a run, and then Julio grounded out to shortstop, which drove in the tying run. Some other positive things that we saw Jorge Polanco with his first home run of the season, especially in a Mariners uniform. Same with Luis Urias. And you saw a little bit of a spark plug in Samad Taylor, which we were kind of hoping he would do. I don't think he's going to be able to stay at the roster, especially as of right now. But we saw a little bit of small ball in there, which was really good to see. We saw he just really offers a speed element that's kind of lacking on the Mariners right now. When we got rid of Jose Caballero, we kind of lost that aggression on the base, but Samad Taylor kind of gives us that spark on the base paths as well. Like I said, we did see improvements on the offensive side from guys that had been struggling. Julio had a decent weekend. Jorge Polanco had a hit in every single game. Mitch Haniger and Demo continue to rake, and Mitch Garver even had a hit in every single game he played this weekend. So right now, these are kind of just little things that we kind of need to take with a positive hand and kind of just keep moving forward with them. Josh Rojas continues to stay hot. He's hitting .412 still 10 games into the season. Dom Canzone had a 2-hit day yesterday, including a home run, so hopefully that brings his confidence up going into the next series in Toronto. So just to continue with the offensive discussion, the Mariners have yet to score 6 runs in a game. They've scored a lot of 5 runs, but they've yet to score more than that in a single game this year. So hopefully that going into Toronto, they can take advantage of a team that's kind of struggling right now. So hopefully they can get above that 6-run mark this week. So like I said, there was some improvements this weekend. The Mariners batting average as a team went from 196 up to 213, which again, just a little bit of an improvement, but we'll take it. They are not the only people sitting at the top of the most strikeout percentage in the league. They are now tied with the Cincinnati Reds at 28.7%, which again is an improvement because they were sitting a little bit above 30% before going into this weekend. And one thing that I just have to put on the screen for you guys is the WAR column. The Seattle Mariners are amongst 6 teams in the league with a negative WAR. That is the Chicago White Sox with a negative .2 WAR, the Oakland Athletics with a negative .2 WAR, the Colorado Rockies with a negative .3 WAR. Then the Mariners find themselves in there with a negative .4 WAR. And then the Mets are at a negative .7, and the Miami Marlins at a negative .8. So I would say the one thing that really is just frustrating about that statistic is that the Mariners are nowhere near on the same level as these teams I just listed. They are so much better, and it's not even close, which is what makes it so frustrating that they're even on this list with the same name as these teams. So again, we really saw flashes of improvement this weekend, especially we had some more home runs, which was nice to see, and our batting average had improved as a team. But to kind of talk about what really didn't work for the Mariners this weekend, even though they did string together a decent amount of runs, and that was the pitching, which is really surprising to even say. Besides Bryce Miller, who absolutely shoved in that Saturday game with 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, and only 3 hits allowed, our starting pitching struggled as well as our bullpen wasn't looking too hot either. Logan struggled a little bit in his start. He gave up 3 home runs in the game that we lost 6-5, and then obviously, as we know, Andres Munoz came in and walked the winning run in. He walked 4 batters in that inning, and we lost on a walk-off walk. But shout out to Mooney for coming back the next day and having a 3-up, 3-down inning that was only about 13 pitches, and we got the win on Saturday. Emerson Hancock really struggled in his start yesterday. I feel bad because that was just honestly hurtful to watch. But he really did just had an off day yesterday, and as we know, we're waiting for Brian Wu to come back, but we haven't really heard much, which is a little concerning because it could be worse than they were expecting it to be. I think Emerson Hancock is a very good pitcher, but I do think he's missing a pitch that's kind of like that put away pitch. So he only went 3 1/3, giving up 8 earned runs yesterday, which is a tough scene for him, but it's going to happen. Like I said, our bullpen really wasn't great this weekend. They gave up 9 earned runs as a pen, which is, again, not very good. So when talking about the pitching, I feel like the reason I brought it up was because this week in Toronto, we really would like to see things click all around. So yes, that is great that we're actually being able to string together some runs. It would really be nice if the pitching and the hitting could click together. So we're scoring a lot of runs and not giving up a lot of runs. And that's kind of one thing that we just really need the Mariners to do, is just be able to click and fire on all cylinders at once, which again will come. I'm not too worried about it. But this next stretch of games is going to be very difficult, especially for the next month. And we really need guys like JP to start stepping it up and really just doing his thing. He's still only hitting 128, which is really hurting us, and he really just needs to find his groove, but I believe he will. Like I said, we are still finding a way to win games with Jorge Polanco hitting 184, Julio hitting 205, and JP hitting 128. Trust me, it's going to get old very fast if we keep saying we're just barely scratching away wins with these guys struggling, but they really do need to find that groove together because they are our most important pieces in that lineup. But like I said, it was a great thing to see the bottom of the lineup come up and contribute, especially in a big situation. And in terms of the catching situation, as painful as it is to see Cal Raleigh have to sit a day because there's really nowhere to put him per se when he has his off day, and seeing Seby Zavala go out there, it is painful. And I mean, I feel like I could make a whole separate video on that topic, but that's just another thing that really needs to improve. Like, Seby Zavala has to show he can somewhat compete at this level, especially offensively. Otherwise, in no time, I think they need to make an adjustment there, whether that's calling Harry Ford up or somehow make I don't know, something. But it's getting really painful to watch. Please let me know how you guys are feeling. They have a big series in Toronto going into early this week. But otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.